Hello and welcome to Spectrum TV News at 12. I am Francis Oyima Edet, coming to you live from here, the capital city of the Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. Presidency says NLC TEC strike unwarranted. Back here, Akwa Ibom State government established dialysis centers in 10 federal constituencies across the state. Plus, Palestinian telecommunication minister says Gaza on the brink of communication blackout. We will bring you details of the stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for joining us. We begin the news this afternoon from the national scene, where the presidency has criticized the nationwide strike of the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria (TUC) as unwarranted. Again, it is an attempt to blackmail the federal government. A special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanago, in a statement expressed dismay that the strike proceeded despite a restriction order by the National Industrial Court. Onanuga noted that he is still at a loss as to why the NLC and TUC decided to punish a whole country of over 200 million people over a personal matter involving the NLC president, Joe Ajaero, whose error of judgment led to assault on him in Owerri. Meanwhile, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, has warned the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, and Trade Union Congress, TUC, stating that there is a subsisting court order preventing the unions and their affiliates from embarking on a strike. The minister urged the NLC and TUC to respect the court order and adhere to the principle of the rule of law, noting that there was no need to resort to self-help. The warning was contained in a statement issued by the Special Assistant, Communication and Publicity to the AGF and Minister of Justice, Kamaruddin Ogundele. According to the minister, any action taken contrary to the order will be tantamount to contempt of court. However, the union has embarked on a nationwide strike today, shortening the court order. Away from that, the federal government has launched an investigation into the cancellation of visas for 264 passengers who were lifted from Lagos and Kano to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The passengers were denied entry upon arrival in Jeddah despite having valid visas and going through the Advanced Passengers Information System (APIS) during the check-in process in Nigeria. The passengers who had departed for Lagos and Kano were informed upon landing that their visas had been revoked at the airport. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, through its special advisor Al-Qasim Abdul Qadir, in a statement noted that it is now investigating the matter to determine if any consular or aviation rules were violated. It reported that it was only after the Nigerian embassy intervened that the Saudi authorities reduced the number of passengers who would be returned from 264 to 177. In the meantime, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Mahmouda Maman, has disclosed the intention of the federal government to seize vulnerable Nigerians' own houses. Aman made the disclosure while fielding questions from journalists on the first day of the 12th meeting of the National Council on Housing and Urban Development taking place in Kaduna State. This is contained in a statement by the Director of Information in the Ministry, Badamasi Salisu Haiba. According to Haiba, the Permanent Secretary said the National Housing Scheme Program by the Ministry would assist the vulnerable population of the country in affording a roof over their heads and these would in turn bridge the gaps in the housing sector. He further explained that the housing scheme was part of the efforts to realize the ambition and also in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. To judicial matters now, where Justice Ayokunle Faji of the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has dismissed a fundamental rights enforcement suit filed by a chartered accountant, Omafume Ayinola, against the Inspector General of Police (IGP) and 4 others. Justice Faji, who dismissed the suit for lack of merit, also ordered the accountant to pay 950,000 naira to all the respondents in the suit. The applicant, who was remanded at the Nigerian Correctional Service (NCOS) for alleged 1 billion naira fraud, filed a suit against the IGP, Commissioner of Police, Interpol, Deputy Commissioner of Police (DCP) Emmanuel Agene, Assistant Superintendent of Police ASP Raphael Ajulo, and a firm. She further prayed the court for an order of perpetual injunction restraining the respondents from further dabbling into a purely domestic, civil and private affairs between her and 5th respondent by inviting, arresting, detaining or compelling her to report at their station. In education, the Academic Staff Union of Universities (ASU) has told the federal government to remove universities from a list of agencies expected to remit 40% of their internally generated revenue (IGR). ASU, in a statement signed by its national president, Professor Emmanuel Sadeke, after its National Executive Council meeting (NEC) at the Kaduna State University, Kaduna, explained that universities were not revenue-generating agencies, saying that the obligatory fees paid by students were to provide the necessary tools for them to be properly educated. Osadeke maintained that deducting 40% of IGR from universities would impoverish the university system. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moiner has approved the establishment of 10 new dialysis centers, one for each of the 10 federal constituencies of the state. Consequently, the governor has directed the immediate commencement of recruitment and training of professionals to meet the manpower needs of the dialysis centers, which are to be fully operational by June of 2024. Announcing these at the Emmanuel General Hospital, Eked, where he commissioned the Enoch and Folu Adeboye Dialysis Center donated by the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG, Governor also ordered the deployment of relevant personnel from the state hospitals to the dialysis center to ensure that the facility is not underutilized due to lack of personnel, describing the dialysis facility provided as critical healthcare intervention. Governor urged other religious and business organizations to emulate such robust corporate social responsibility gesture to partner the government in developing the state, assuring of the readiness of his administration to partner in such direction. Earlier, the Intercontinental Overseer Christian Social Responsibility, Pastor Idowu Iluyomade, speaking on behalf of the church, said the church, driven by a passion for humanity and need to bring help to people afflicted by the scourge of kidney diseases, has through His Love Foundation set up 12 dialysis centers across Nigeria and was pleased to set the 13th in Eket, Akwa Ibom State, among other interventions. We move now to Africa, where a sudden and intense hailstorm has reportedly struck several parts of Johannesburg, blocking highways and damaging gardens, vehicles, car parks, buildings, roads, and other property. Johannesburg Emergency Management Services spokesperson Robert Molanzi said that flash floods from the storm hit some parts of the city, but no injuries or fatalities had been recorded. He added that authorities have provided emergency services to affected families and would remain on high alert to respond to any reported incidents. Still in Africa, Gabon's military leaders say they plan to hold a general election in August 2025. This follows pressure from the international community to announce a timetable for the return of civilian rule. Announcing the plans, Gabon's junta said the proposed timetable was not final and would need approval from the public during town hall set-style meetings in April 2024. The Gabon's transitional leaders added that a new constitution is to be presented in October next year and adopted by the end of 2024 in a referendum. On the foreign scene, Palestinian telecommunication minister Ishaq Sayah has said that Gaza Strip is facing an imminent complete halt of communications and internet services. Sayah said the expected interruption is due to the depletion of fuel supplies and is expected to increase the ongoing humanitarian crisis by hindering Palestinians' ability to reach emergency, relief and rescue services. The minister added that an outage could prevent civil defense and Red Crescent terms from coordinating a response to emergency sites, characterizing the development as a violation of international law and basic human rights. Still on the foreign scene, residents of an allowed back to their homes briefly to collect belongings. Reports say more than 500 quakes hit the southwestern James Peninsula. According to reports, thousands of people have been evacuated from the town of Grindavik, under which most of the tremors have taken place. Still to come in the news. The Akwa Ibom State Football Association announces ticket prices for Nigeria vs Lesotho 2026 WCQ. Just stay with us.
For brilliant broadcasts and entertainment, sports on the go, and news around the world, watch Spectrum TV on StarTimes DTH channel 421 and free-to-air frequency 12733. Visit our website SpectrumTVLive.ng. Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Many thanks for staying with us, and now to the rest of our news stories.